Have you ever gone shopping for a security camera and just felt totally lost? You see two cameras. They both say 4K, they look almost identical, but one is $150 and the other is $1,000. It's confusing for sure. But today, we're going to clear all of that up. So let's just get right into it, because this is the big question, right? Why the massive price gap? And spoiler alert, it's not just about marketing or a fancy brand name. The difference between that cheap camera and the expensive one tells this incredible story about technology, reliability, and even a little bit of geopolitics. Okay, so let's tackle that $1,000 camera head on. What could possibly justify that kind of price when a much cheaper one seems to do the same job? Well, as you're about to see, what you're really paying for is about so much more than just the picture it takes. You know, the funny thing is, the resolution, that's often the least important part of the whole deal. The real difference, the stuff that really matters, is in the things you can't see on a spec sheet. Like, is this thing going to run for 10 years straight without a hiccup? Is it a walking cybersecurity risk? And are there bigger political risks tied to the company that made it? Those are the things that determine a camera's real value. Okay, so to wrap our heads around all this, folks, in the security industry have this really simple way of looking at it. They break the entire market down into three main tiers. And once you get these three tiers, you'll be able to look at pretty much any camera out there and know exactly where it fits in the grand scheme of things. And this is where the car analogy really clicks. Think of it like this. You've got your top-of-the-line Mercedes-Benz tier. Then you've got the Toyota or Honda of the camera world. You know, super reliable, great value. And finally, you have the global volume kings, the budget options that sell millions of units, but they come with some pretty serious asterisks attached. All right, let's start at the very top with the Mercedes tier. These are the cameras you're going to find in places where failure is just not an option. Think airports, casinos, massive data centers. These things are built for one purpose above all else, just absolute bulletproof reliability. I love this quote because it just nails the entire philosophy of this top tier. It's not about flashy features. It's about being a rock-solid, dependable tool that you can set and forget. The goal is to install it and basically never have to think about it again, because it just works. The undisputed king of the hill here is a Swedish company called Axis Communications. These guys literally invented the IP camera way back in 1996. And their secret sauce? They designed their own custom computer chip called the ArtPEC. That gives them total control over everything from performance to security, which is a massive advantage over companies that just use off-the-shelf parts. So here's the deal with Access. The pros? You get world-class cybersecurity. They even publish something called an SBM, which is basically an ingredients list for all their software, super transparent. You also get this crazy high MTBF, that's mean time between failures. It's engineered to just not break. The con? Well, all that quality and peace of mind, it definitely comes at a premium. All right, let's drop down a tier to the mid-market. And honestly, this is the sweet spot for a ton of people. This is your Toyota or Honda of the camera world, brands that deliver amazing quality without that luxury price tag.
And this quote just says it all, right? You're getting almost all the power and reliability of those top-tier cameras, but for way less money. For a lot of businesses, this isn't just a good choice, it's the smartest choice.
And the champion of this mid-market tier is Hanwha Vision. They're a massive South Korean company, and you might actually know them from their past life as Samsung's security division. And just like Access, they designed their own custom chipset called WiseNet, which lets them get fantastic performance. So the big wins for Hanwha are that perfect mix of value, reliability, and, this is critical, compliance. They're what's known as NDAA Compliant. That stands for the National Defense Authorization Act. It's basically a green light from the US government saying they're safe to use in federal projects. This is a huge deal, which is why you see these cameras everywhere in schools, hospitals, and big retail chains.
Okay, time to talk about the elephant in the room, the budget tier. And by sheer volume, these guys are the biggest players in the game, by far. You'll find their products all over Amazon, in big box stores, pretty much everywhere.
And the appeal is just so obvious. The price is just unbeatable. It's almost shockingly low, which is super tempting if you're a homeowner or a small business. But, and this is a big but, that rock bottom price comes with some pretty serious hidden risks. So, how do they do it? Well, the key is a business strategy called OEM. Basically, two giant companies, Hikvision and Dahua, manufacture millions of these cameras, and then dozens of other brands just slap their own logo on the box and sell them as their own. So, you might think you're buying brand X, but really, you're buying a product made by one of these two companies. So, this table puts it all in perspective. You've got your premium tier, Axis out of Sweden, giving you extreme reliability for a high price. You've got your mid-market, Hanwha from South Korea, offering great value. And then you've got the budget tier, Hikvision and Dahua out of China, with the absolute lowest price, but with major cyber and political risks. So what are these risks exactly? Well, for starters, there's a long documented history of major cybersecurity holes. We're talking about things like backdoors that could potentially phone home to servers in China. It's such a big concern that these products are explicitly banned from being used in any US federal government project. And now a lot of private companies are pulling them out too, just to avoid the risk. Okay, so this all sounds complicated, right? But for the pros, it often boils down to one critical filter. One simple question that cuts through all the noise and makes the decision for them. And there it is. It's not about megapixels or night vision. It's about where the money comes from. If an organization, whether it's a school, a hospital, even a local police department, gets even a single dollar of federal funding, the choice is basically made for them. It's not a suggestion, it's the law. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. That law we mentioned, the NDAA, creates this super clear red light, green light system. Brands like Axis, Hanwha, and Bosch are on the approved green light list, but brands like Hikvision and Dahua are on the banned red light list. It's a non-starter for any project with federal ties. So let's circle all the way back to our original question. Why does one camera cost so little and another so much? Well, now you know. That price tag isn't just a number, it's a story. It's a story about the trade-offs you're making between upfront cost, long-term reliability, and, believe it or not, national security risk. And all of this leaves us with one last big question to think about. What's the true cost of security? Is it the number you see on the price tag? Or is it the price you might pay later for reliability, for trust, and for real peace of mind? Definitely something to consider.